go.
Don't
go.
Messaging me like crazy.
Stick with.
Guess what? Here's your open. We recorded that part.
Where's your McDonald's cup? Bring it out.
You can leave it up front.
Bring it up front.
Is it there?
All right, ready when you are.
All right.
I'm not ready.
Go ahead. We're rolling? All right. Hey everyone. Welcome to another edition of Comic Shop Talk. And today, in the seat to my right, to your left, is Phil Hamill.
Hello.
An old friend, familiar face. And yep. And then, of course, we've got trusty right-hand man.
Yep.
Actually left in this case for me. Tyler Hamill. And then you got moi.
This guy. We know
This
this
guy.
guy.
Chris Hamill.
Chris Hamill.
Mills. That's right.
My wife wishes it was Chris Hemsworth, but
Who doesn't?
moving along. Anyway, I probably had a better physique, by the way, now than Chris Hemsworth showed in the Avengers movie. But we'll get to that later.
I don't know. I couldn't identify with his figure.
You
Can't now.
you can do. Yes, melted ice cream looks good on you too. Anyway.
Anyway,
So,
yeah. we're
so
not talking-
conspicuous in his absence is one Ken Lee, the skinniest of us. So, anyway, he had some stuff come up this month and is not able to join us. So we're going to try to fill his shoes in some way. We'll never pull it off the way he can, but we're going to miss him a lot. But we're going to try to get through this show talking about a couple topics that are in the Conan world. So we're going to start off, actually, with brand new title, The Savage Avengers. And maybe Phil, once he moves from actor or special host to back to producer, will be able to get us a nice image of this book. But The Savage Avengers is one of the newest in Marvel's pantheon
Only
of
one
Avengers.
issue so far?
Only one issue, and it starts off pretty interestingly, but it's going to have quite a cast of characters. After that, we're going to move into another Conan-related title. It's actually called Age of Conan Belit. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Conan, and the please forgive the racy artwork here.
It's Conan.
I know some people won't approve of that, but it is a Conan book, exactly. They weren't one for lots of clothes.
Modesty.
Anyway, so she is actually the love interest of Conan. So, and this kind of follows her story, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So first, let's start off with Savage Avengers. I know that we've just recently read this book, so it should be fresh in our minds. And what were first impressions so far?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I was ecstatic about this because you guys know this about me. I'm sure the audience kind of gathered from it, like things I've talked about before. I love the Savage Lands. It's one of my favorite Marvel settings.
Yep.
I love the cast of characters that come from the Savage Lands. So the fact that we have new publication in the Savage Lands.
And it says Savage Avengers. Wow. No
It's like
coincidence
you see,
there,
wow, how
right?
They're connected, I think, maybe.
No coincidence there. So yes, the story starts off with us in the Savage Lands. So
yeah.
how does it start, actually? Not where, since we've
Not
covered
where. It's we start with what I can only assume is an opera singer who is kidnapped and magically brought to the Savage Lands.
By whom?
I don't think it actually really states exactly who it is. We do know, however, that somehow the hand is involved.
The hand is involved, yes. So as far as we know, it is the hand.
Yeah.
As far as we're aware.
As far as we're aware, but
Yep.
who knows?
Our
There-
main baddie still hasn't revealed a name, though.
Right. That's
Who's
right.
controlling the hand?
That's right.
we don't know who's puppeting the hand, but
So what was the fate of this opera singer, this very talented opera singer, by the way?
a decapitation and then thrown into a literal pool of blood.
Kind of like a vat.
an industrial like vat. It's probably super tiny. You can't see it, but there's a pool of red blood, and there's little dead bodies floating around. Very not for the kids.
Looks like Campbell's tomato soup to me.
Oh, don't ruin soup
It's
for me,
like,
man.
I'm wondering, like, how is there more blood than like actual body?
You know,
That's a
It's
good
like
point.
they probably had to take a couple of the bodies out just to make room for more of the blood.
maybe they had things hanging over and they just kind of like let the
Let it
blood
just kinda drip in.
spill in. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like
That's a whole lot of chum there.
anyways, what is particularly interesting about the sacrifices that they're making into this pool
Yes.
is that they are all people of great mental and physical prowess. Great
Okay.
thinkers, great artists, and most importantly, great warriors.
Great warriors, yeah.
And it
Yep.
seems that the purpose behind this is a ritual spell in order to summon their god, whose name I cannot pronounce for the life of me.
It's one of those names that
Yeah,
has
like-
like 4 syllables and they don't make sense.
Trying to pronounce.
More consonants than vowels, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yep.
Jotan Lao, the Marrow
is that,
God.
Is that,
The
is that
marrow
what
god,
it is?
yes.
Jotan Lao?
Yes.
That's how I think it. It's JH. That makes a Z sound, right?
Maybe Jotan Lao?
The marrow god? Does he have a bone to pick with humanity?
Chris,
I'm sorry.
you
I
forgot
had
the
to do it.
punjar again.
I had the punjar's not here, so I don't have to pay it.
I'm writing
That's
it
the
down. Where's my pen?
That's the rule.
Editing
So-
magic. My pen's gone. I'll put it in post.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I got away with it again.
So, starting off, we bump into Conan, who is fighting off some of the hand ninjas.
Yes, that's right. Yes, he is vanquishing hand ninjas like it's nobody's
Yeah.
business. Yep.
And amidst the warriors, he ends up thrusting his sword into the skull of a very familiar character to all of us, one Logan, the Wolverine.
Yep.
At which point, the two of them, not knowing who each other are or what their purpose for being there is,
Yep.
begin to fight. So we get this awesome battle scene between the two of them where they're just going blow for blow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
it really is.
And they had more one-liners than one of our shows, actually. Yeah.
It was pretty good. It goes on for pages
Yep.
until they finally realize that they're pretty well matched, but through some of their back and forth, come to terms with the fact that they have very different interests in this particular city.
Yep.
One, Conan is looking for a specific type of treasure, and Logan is looking. Said he's looking for someone.
Yeah, he doesn't really reveal what his
Yeah.
business is at first. He just says, I'm not interested in jewelry. So,
He said he's looking for a wizard,
yes,
which
He's looking for a friend.
for a friend, and I think later it's revealed that it is Brother Voodoo.
Yep, also known as Dr. Voodoo. At least in this particular issue. So he does end up finding Dr. Voodoo, who in a small 2-page little snippet we find out was actually,
Lord?
yeah, he was kind of tricked into falling into the hands.
Was that purposeful? Because you might owe the punjar now.
There really was no way for me to get around that.
Okay.
I was not. I didn't go out of my way to make that pun. Okay, it just kind of
It
happened.
just happened. All right.
But his attempt at rescuing Dr. Voodoo is very short-lived, as he is also, not Logan, but Dr. Voodoo, is sacrificed to the pool of chum.
Yeah. So what's with the implement that they're using to sacrifice the people? I found that kind of interesting.
So they're using sickles, like harvesting scythes. I'm not entirely sure why.
It has something to do with it, because they're called the City of Sickles,
Yeah.
but we don't really have too much background information on the City of Sickles at the
So
moment.
there was that image with
Oh yeah, the
Not that I want to get ahead in the
big
story too
big
much,
baddie
but
has a kind of messed up hand.
Yeah.
Almost demonic, kind of like
yeah,
exoskeletons. Get an image of that weird demonic hand that he's got going on
it
there.
reminds me of the Conan
Which I'm sure we're going to get a
from,
lot more information
Age
about
of
in
Sigmar.
future issues.
Yep.
I
So-
have to go dive through to find if.
So I love the.
back.
By the way, I love the moments of bravado that I guess we're calling him Dr. Voodoo. Dr. Voodoo shows when it's revealed like he comes to this place, you know, through presumably someone who reaches out to him and says, "Hey, I need your help. I need you to come here," and then that person reveals like, by the way, this was all a trap. You know, I needed to save my. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let
They-
my
they
daughter go
captured
or something like that, or
Her son.
her son. Excuse me.
yeah.
And yeah, and you know, and he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." Like he
Yeah,
just
came
comes.
prepared.
He came prepared, and what did he come prepared with? I thought that was
a little voodoo doll.
A little
of
voodoo
hand
doll of
ninja,
a hand ninja. It was
which
awesome.
clearly didn't help him out all that much because
I-
he's still sacrificed to a marrow god.
Yeah, like
So-
you didn't even see what happened, but he walks in there into like a conference room of ninjas.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, look
Like,
what I
I'm
got.
ready to go.
And then next panel, it's like, oh, he's captured.
Yep. Yep.
Like, all right.
Kind of skipped a little bit there. Wish I
Yeah.
got a little bit more information, but they're trying to cram
I was-
a whole lot into a short opening
Yeah,
issue.
exactly.
So can't really blame them.
So
Exactly.
I'm looking at the image of this sickle agent's hand, this hand agent's hand,
Yep.
Hand of the hand.
hand of the hand. Makes me think of Carnage a bit with the
Oh.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Because if we go back and we look at Conan does discover where his treasure that he's looking for is hidden. And we get this image here of a man lying on a table
Yep.
and above
Sounds like
him-
Doctor Strange, but
Yeah, that's
neither here nor
that's the
there.
impression I got. You know, little goatee.
Yep.
But hanging above him is a large bird cage,
Yep.
and contained inside seems to be the Venom symbiote.
It looks like him.
Yeah,
It's
he's got the eyes, the Hulk black body, the
long red tongue.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's right off the rip, we've got a whole lot going on.
There is a whole
And-
lot going on here.
I don't even think we get introduced to all of the cover characters. Like,
No,
we've got Thor in the background on the cover here, and I don't even.
That's a
think he shows up in
variant
the first-
edition, so I don't really. Yeah, I mean, who really knows? They like to do a lot of feints with covers.
That's true.
in
That's
comics
true.
these
Good
days.
point.
Something else that kind of made me think Carnage too was when they introduce, Marrow or
Yep.
their Marrow god. This looks like a giant gray Savage Land variation of a symbiote.
And check out that artwork, though. I feel like the artwork that's been done here by who is it that actually it's on the inside?
Oh, that's right, on the inside.
Yeah, I mean Sorry, I don't mean to command this thing from you, Phil.
No, you're fine.
But
Take it.
But yeah, Mike Diodado's pencils on this are unbelievable, and the grittiness.
A lot
Yeah,
of
the
harsh
gritty-
angles and lines, like it's
Yeah, it just really matches the tone so well for this type of story, and so I really appreciate that, and I think you will too when you open the book. And it really just kind of helps sets the tone basically for what you're reading. I mean, it should be. I mean, you're talking about human sacrifice, cults, and who knows what else here, and you've got these characters who we've been introduced to so far with Conan, with Logan, presumably Venom, brother or Dr. Voodoo, however you want to refer to him as. These are characters that are kind of more on the fringe, the outliers in the Marvel universe type of thing, and
Right.
and they really, their tales are gritty, and it matches the tone just matches so well,
Yeah.
so perfectly to the story. So I didn't mean to hijack your thought.
No,
though,
you're
so-
fine. You're
so
fine. This
Go
is-
right ahead. Continue on.
Well, to just kind of make a long story short, I'm kind of getting the idea that, and again, theory. We like to make theories around here. I get the feeling that our big bad evil guy is going to be a giant savage symbiote of some kind, and who knows? We'll probably get something really cool. Maybe his name is Marrow. I don't know. We have Carnage and Phage and all those guys. Why not have one called Marrow?
So, as an aside, if you're reading any of the more recent Carnage storylines, the Carnage storylines have really gone the route of basically taking a more of like a religious cult approach to their storytelling. And so that kind of fits into what this is. So, I mean, maybe there's going to be a tie-in here with the Web of Carnage story that just recently appeared over the last couple months.
Oh yeah.
Because he is being worshipped as a god of sorts, by some strange robed lunatics, So and that might fit right into this. I would love to see them bring that. I love the cohesiveness that Marvel is able to really put into a lot of their books, and a lot of times they'll extract things from these separate storylines you didn't think had any kind of like relation, and then all of a sudden, like bam, it's right in the middle of a storyline in a separate book. So maybe we'll get a piece of that. So you might be onto something, Phil.
I would like to hope so.
Yep.
So in the last couple of pages,
Yep.
We get one more added character.
Yes.
You have a couple of the foot ninja approaching.
Hand.
The hand ninjas. Sorry, foot.
Foot is a different genre, different series.
Donatello, get in here with my pizza.
Ear ninjas, hand ninjas approach with 3 caskets, to which our main baddie is somewhat disgusted by the sight of.
Yes.
Being that he wants living heroes, living people of prowess, and not dead ones, and they reveal that the caskets were bait for another much more powerful, deadly warrior who has, according to them, shed more blood than almost any other man. So we're looking at a character who kills a lot of people. It's 3 caskets, a large one and 2 small ones. It's like 1 adult and 2 kids.
Yeah.
Who do we know that has killed a lot of people, like a lot of people, and has ties to 1 dead adult and 2 dead children? That would actually follow the hand who have taken them. Do you know anyone like that, Chris? You wouldn't happen to be a fan of any character that follows that description, would you?
It sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know. I'm really.
Maybe chases the hand to a castle.
It's. I like what you did
let's
there.
Let's be frank here.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, the Punisher, of course.
That's right. So in the last
Frank Castle, Punisher, yes, and there he is. He's not very happy, standing in the rain, looking at the gravesite that has been pillaged of his family. So, yeah, there's going to be some hell to be paid here.
So definitely pretty interesting so far. I do want to point out something.
Oh, sure, go ahead. And then I'd like to point out something. But go ahead.
What do you want to point out? We're pointing out the same thing.
I think you're pointing to a different panel right now. I'm
pointing to here.
Yeah, the panel I was pointing to was right here. So I have to say, the hand strikes me as just like a bunch of ninja drones. Like, who decided to get the middle management, type of attitude and really think out of the box and go, you know what? I'm going to make an executive decision here.
That's true.
And
company uniform is ninja. You have to wear red ninja
the boss
pajamas.
clearly did not know about the plan. I mean, does that really seem like
That's
a
fair.
hand thing to do?
Maybe we'll get we have like a lieutenant in there somewhere that we're not talking about.
Maybe.
I wanna take a look real quick at this big baddie.
All right. Yep.
Because he's this hooded character.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this kind of interesting dark green armor that he wears with the black cowl over it.
Yeah.
He's based on a couple of these images. It looks like he's got kind of slick back, short blonde hair, and a lot of
Is he Oliver Queen?
a lot of metal going on around him. I'm wondering if this is some sort of alternate reality like Victor Von Doom.
Oh.
You know, that I was actually thinking that too when I was looking at it, because especially with his hood and cape, I'm like,
Yeah.
Like,
is this?
Tell me that this panel right here does not scream Von Doom to you. I think we got a little
That
bit to do
actually,
here.
that's
actually
really a good observation.
Take a look at this hand. And all the metal that runs through it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's conjecture. This could be
Guys.
a completely new character.
What if Doctor Doom got a Carnage symbiote?
That
Oh my gosh. That's frightening.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually pretty
I'm
excited to see
I'm looking at
coming up
the
Yeah.
evil red hand here, and I'm just like, wait. Tyler brought up Doctor Doom. I brought up Carnage. Oh no.
This could be very interesting.
Are you guys like on the Marvel Ideas panel or something?
No, not unless what we say comes true. Then yes.
Hey, listen, Marvel. If this isn't your plan, call me. We can make this work. Okay.
We'll just scrap. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. That'd
Listen,
be
I
rude.
will.
There are
accept
much more
royalties.
intelligent people with way better ideas than me that work for Marvel, and I would never suggest that our idea is better,
No. Well,
except for in the case of some stuff. We're good. You know, let's move on. To
maybe in the behind the scenes that might be said. But so Jerry Dugan is the writer of the Savage Avengers. So I know we mentioned Diodato as the artist. Jerry Dugan has written more recently the Infinity Countdown books, as well as Despicable Deadpool. He was a main writer on that. So obviously you've got a fan here,
yeah.
right?
Oh, for sure.
So, you know, and a solid beginning to that book. We highly recommend it. I'm pretty certain if Ken were here, he would probably also echo this. I believe this was a Crankfile pick of the week, and that is his comic blog that he writes for Great Stories. And so definitely pick up your copy and get caught up before number 2 drops, which will probably be in another couple of weeks.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. With that, we're going to turn our attention to Conan's love interest. So, as mentioned before, we've got Age of Conan Belit. Belit is, we know her as the fabled pirate queen.
Yep.
Who, you know, now Conan has been, he's been quite the player over the years, right?
Yeah, he's
You know, he
had
had
a couple
Sonya
girlfriends.
and
But-
some earlier stuff. I mean, you know,
He's famous for his one-night stands, though. He's not exactly like
he's not
a
upstanding
settled-down
guy.
type of guy. Exactly. You know, like, you know. But his one weakness is Belit. She is the woman that has matched the intensity of the man, I suppose, right? And
I swear, if you're going to say intelligence, I'm like, dude, that's not a hard.
not exactly.
That's not a hard
how
thing to
I
match.
describe Conan.
Conan's a lot of things,
He's
but
a deep
intelligent.
intellectual, that Conan.
Well, you know, let's not insult his intelligence. I
Right,
mean,
he's
he is
very tactical,
he's a very
for sure.
tactical, right? Exactly. I mean, he's survived a lot of battles, and for good reason. You know, that's not
that's
just
true.
all his warrior prowess.
That's true.
So, but Age of Conan Belit basically picks up Belit as a teenager, presumably.
Preteen teenager times, yeah.
Was she preteen at this point?
I
don't
thought
think
at the
so.
beginning. I thought at the beginning she
Not-
was like maybe
not
13 or
sure.
14 by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, she's young. Yeah, I mean, I would say, probably 14, 15 years old, maybe. But these are her early days. Now, her father is basically the head of the pirates. Like, he's basically a renowned
The Dread
pirate.
Admiral.
Yes.
Something or other. I can't remember his full name, but his proper title is the Dread Admiral.
Yes.
Which is a great title. I mean, let's not.
It is a great title.
It's
And
great.
and so she has, and of course she idolizes her father now, and she wants to be just like him. And but of course she's early in her years, and you know, and he's done his best, I suppose, to teach her things about the sea and about, I suppose, the pirate life, but not really allow her to kind of live
Go
it.
off on her own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
She's too intense right now. She's like, oh, we need to flog this person who mistied this rope. It's like, her dad's like, hey, calm, relax.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be captain if you keep flogging people.
that's right. So
Just a good dad. Dad of the year.
Again, well, yeah. I
Stop
mean,
your kids from flogging other people.
as much as a criminal can be, he's a good dad. I
You
suppose,
know.
Well, you
but-
learn a thing or two in Nancy.
Yeah, you do. So, but something happens here. A tragedy befalls her and her father, and
Yeah, Dad has as a pirate king, you accrue a lot of debt, make a lot of enemies,
Yep.
and her dad gets captured to basically pay his debts with his life, as pirates do.
that's right. And so he is basically dragged away out of Belit's life and put on some island to a
Die of
sandbar,
exposure.
basically,
Yeah.
to die of exposure. And she, of course, goes to rescue him, and he refuses rescue.
So Belit has to do. She puts her dad out of his misery. She just quickly and painlessly takes his life,
Yep.
ends his suffering, and then more tragedy befalls her as she is returning home, finding her father's fleet on fire, and she is then captured and sold into slavery.
Well, attempted.
Attempted.
She's sold.
She isn't sold.
She's taken away.
captured.
Taken away with the intention.
Upon her father's former flagship, which she now considers her own,
Yeah.
the group of pirates who had taken it, former men of her father's, and they end up sailing alongside another ship, to which they essentially give the news that the Dread Admiral is dead,
Yep.
and that all of his spoils is being essentially picked at, as most importantly, captives, people that they can sell into slavery. This, of course, is a buzzword for this other group of pirates who don't believe in slaving, and they board the ship to essentially kill off all these other pirates and free their slaves.
Yes.
And that's when they discover Belit, who still is of the mind that this is her ship and that she needs to prove herself.
That's right.
A promise that her father made to her is that if she was ever able to find and slay a sea monster, to which they have fallen into legend at this point,
Yes.
then he himself would crown her the queen of the pirates.
Yes.
And though he might have, passed on, she still views that as what she needs to do to prove herself as the true pirate queen.
That's right.
And that's her goal. Except now, she has to essentially fight for her right to run the ship against the man who has now taken it, which is the leader of this other ship.
I'm trying to find his name.
That's correct.
It's this.
It's a long name.
Yeah. So.
As Gillian? I don't know. It's weird. Looks French. Oh no, that's not his name.
Yeah, that's not
No,
his
no.
name.
That's not his name. There's too many long words in this.
Lots of accents.
So he's not accepting her her entitlements, clearly, to be the captain of the ship. She's like he recognizes her lineage, but
I think
says-
it's Saturnius.
Saturnius.
Saturnius, that's
Yeah.
what his name is.
But he's not giving up the ship.
Doesn't mean
And-
his white pants look really off-putting.
The what?
You know what? I didn't even notice his white pants.
He looks
until
very
now.
off-putting in like a couple of these panels. Just like
Well, all right. So you're going to talk about the art here. I have to say that the art does not match the story.
No, not really.
no.
It is.
It kind of
So-
jumps around actually when I really look at it, because there
Like
are
maybe
there are some that, no offense to the brilliant artist that worked on this.
Kate Nimzik?
Yeah.
Kate Nimzik, yeah.
At some parts, it really just kind of looks like a coloring book. But then at other parts, there's some actual depth that is in the
So
art.
it's inconsistent to you.
Uh,
It's inconsistent?
I mean, I obviously I can't show you on camera, but just take a look at like here to here. You see the difference?
Yeah, there seems to be some effort going on in the panels, and then
Yeah.
other panels seem to be kind of mailed in a little bit. Maybe they were under tight deadlines, who knows?
Or
Maybe.
an attempt to draw your eyes to specific images.
Perhaps. Now, I will say that the writing from, I don't know if it's Teeny or Tiny Howard.
Tinny?
Tinny?
I don't know.
Tinny Howard, who was a writer for, was it Oni Press, who did Rick and Morty. She was a writer on Rick and Morty, and now she's exclusive, apparently as of March, to Marvel. And she's also writing Thanos.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep, so the brand new Thanos title. And she's got this limited series. I discovered that it's a limited series, the Belit series, which I imagine will be a 6-issue arc, presumably. Maybe it's 5. But we're 3 issues in. So at any rate, now we get back to the story. So she is, so Belit is now freed, but she's now on this quest to find the sea monster.
Yep.
And slay it, while she basically, simultaneously, she's not giving up on this idea, though, of captaining the ship before that time, though.
Right.
She
right.
she doesn't want to wait for that to happen.
She gives
And-
orders to the crew. She
Yes.
she even at one point switches out the course maps
Yes.
so that,
That was
the crew
great.
will actually end up sailing back towards the monster instead of pulling the Saturnius's now sinking ship, which they are trying to taxi into the port using.
So you just mentioned that we had just talked about how the sea monsters
Right.
had presumably all died, but you just made mention.
Almost immediately after, she states that her goal is to find and kill a sea monster.
Yeah.
They get attacked.
They get attacked by a sea monster.
To almost so much to the extent that
it's
the
uncanny
captain
how
and
this stuff
crew
happens in comic books.
actually think that she has something to do with it.
Like
Yes.
literal seconds, she walks up. She's like, "I'm gonna kill a monster,"
Yep.
and then it's just
Yeah,
like
monsters.
tentacles just start coming out of the water. It's like,
Yep.
did she do that?
The captain gets thrown into the waves, right?
Yep.
He's in the ocean. What an opportunity that would have been, right?
Right.
For her to take over. Was not to be.
She looked at the captain and said, "I'm the captain now."
Yeah. But
Topical Captain Phillips reference for all y'all.
yes. So yeah, she switches out the course maps, but she seems to be gaining the respect of a lot of the crew. So maybe slowly, like one by one, some of them are becoming a little bit more acclimated, I suppose, to following her leadership as opposed to the captains.
They go to serve the pirate queen as opposed to their captain.
And it's not as if she's seeking outright mutiny.
Right.
No.
She's not doing that. Although her actions to switch out the maps were certainly could
for
be
sure.
considered mutinous.
Oh,
but that was
she-
more
She'd probably hang for that.
not to overthrow the captain, but to fulfill her quest, which was the quest that her father had set for her. So after this encounter with this sea monster, she comes up with a ploy, an idea to make the crew rich, right?
Yeah. So they go to, it's in issue 2, they go to an island, basically to say hey, monsters are back. We can kill these things. We've done it. We have the dead body to prove it.
Arathan.
And we'll protect your
And we're going to protect your
vessels.
your cluster of islands and your vessels.
Yep.
And issue 3 starts with the high priestess, the leader of this group, going, "Oh, you're monster slayers? Okay, And then like the Leviathan that they just brought in, this dead Leviathan just like wakes up again, and she's like, "Prove it. Go kill that thing you just killed." And
Yep.
Belit single-handedly goes back and cuts off this Leviathan's head, and it's
Which was like hilariously small.
yeah, she's hilariously
It's like-
tiny.
It's more of like a Goomba from the live action Mario movie, except with like tentacles.
Oh, we don't talk about that movie, man. That movie was a
It
sin.
happened, and we need to accept it.
I accept it. I don't want to talk about it though.
But I'm just saying, big body, little head.
So
Yeah.
she kills this thing. By the way, that thing looks like a larva head or something like that, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah.
a little bit of a, I don't know. It's
I don't know if camera can pick that up. I'll see it in post, but
Yeah.
that's got a real nasty tiny head over here compared to its body.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah, after she kills this Leviathan, re-kills this Leviathan, she proceeds to use this ploy of protection to just go around the continent, or the oceans around the continent, and just absolutely decimate everywhere she goes. I don't know if you're familiar with the actual real-life pirate queen in history. She was one of the most notorious seafaring pirates of all time. She had upwards of like 2,000 ships. Can't remember her name offhand, but she was a Chinese pirate. I got a lot of vibes of her in this. I'll put the name in down here so that
Down here.
down here in the bottom where you can look up her
Scrolling
history because
across the screen.
it's really cool.
I'm
but
only familiar with the pirate Keith Richards.
I thought you were going to say Jack Sparrow.
Who's that? Never heard of him.
Other time we'll talk. But yeah, no, I want to say like possibly over the course of like 5, maybe 10 years,
Yep.
we just watch Belit like just absolutely decimate her way through the coast back and forth,
Yes.
and she becomes a legitimate pirate queen. She has the respect of her, this captain's crew that she's boarded with.
Yep.
By the looks of it, she's got the respect of just every other pirate crew she's ever come across.
The captain's still in the picture, though.
Yeah, he's still in the picture, and he's still just like really salty that she's still commanding everyone, even though she's not actually the captain of the boat she's on. Which,
It's amazing that, like, over the course of this time, like, nothing's happened between these two that, like...
you think this would have come to a head way
right.
before instead of,
Right.
5-10 years later. It's
Right.
like,
This
dude,
is a
what-
slow-burning jealousy here.
this slow seething saltiness.
Yes. Yep.
And the issue 3 where we're at right now in terms of the story's progression culminates with a sword fight between the first mate and Belit. Captain Dry's cutting in, and you gotta respect a first mate who will literally die for her captain before letting the captain throw his life away.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
I'll be honest, I was a bit choked up when the first mate jumped in to save her captain, because I liked the first mate way more than I liked the captain.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was a way cooler pirate than the captain was.
She was.
Yeah,
Yep.
she had a bit more of a pirate attitude.
She was just like way more chill about everything too. She
He
was
seems
just
like a pretty boy pirate or something.
A little bit. Like,
he's a pirate in name only. She was actually
Yeah.
a pirate.
like Robert De Niro
I know.
and Stardust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Perfect reference there. Yeah.
But it doesn't even really matter, because after the first mate dies, Captain wades in to avenge his first mate,
Yeah.
and he also dies.
Yeah.
So
So it was wasted death, really. Like
like there
all
was
that
no
for
point.
nothing. No.
Like I don't know if my best friend, threw
I mean,
themselves.
she doesn't really have any opposition now that
Well-
she's dispatched the two of them. I think that's kind of the
That was the point. Was that exactly basically ending any possible threat of, even though she didn't intend it that way. It
Accidentally
gets
killed you.
gets rid of the
competition.
it gets rid of the competition. Exactly.
Yeah,
Makes her
I suppose.
undisputed. Yep.
And for the final shot, it's she is now both the pirate queen, and she's also now the captain of the ship. Like, the crew is utterly devoted to her. There's no former authority to challenge her,
Nope.
and the last shot of issue 3, we see a mysterious stranger who it's been kind of hinted at in the last couple issues to have been following Belit. We don't know who this person is, so we're on a bit of a cliffhanger right now. We'll see where it goes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
So, the story itself, I mean, even though I'm not thrilled with the artwork,
no,
the
this
story-
is a solid story.
the story has
Yeah,
been
for
good.
sure.
It's great to flesh out Conan's world a little bit more
Yeah,
and get some, I mean, something that's not a Conan-centric story, that actually will probably end up helping us identify better and caring more about some of the other supporting characters in his stories.
Yeah.
yeah.
Marvel's going full force here. They're not shying away. Like, they got the Conan title. They're
using it.
They're using it to
Yeah.
its fullest. I mean, you've got the regular Conan book. They came out with Savage Sword of Conan, which follows a different set of stories, and then Belit almost right away. So they're really pushing Conan.
and then
now-
again, they also have the Savage Avengers.
yes, the recent Avengers No Road Home
Has
which
Conan in it,
Had
yeah.
Conan
Yep.
in it. And the other really cool thing that the Conan books are doing, and they go across all the different Conan books, not the Savage Avengers, but any
Age
of
of
the Age of
Conans.
Conan titles, they have been putting in sample chapters of the novelizations, and by Michael Stackpole. I think there might have been, actually, in this case, it's Michael Stackpole, Bone Whispers, Episode 1. But they give you sample chapters of the actual books,
The novella, yeah.
the novella, and that's a really cool thing, too, because I'm really getting interested in picking up those.
If I ever learn how to read, I'll definitely take a look at that.
I'll read them to you, buddy. How about
That's-
that?
Thanks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, anyway, that is there anything else like that we haven't not as a main topic, but is there anything in the comic world that you guys are like excited about? Or-
We don't have them with us, but I noticed at the shop we have a continuation of the Bloodborne stories.
Yep.
So I read that earlier this week.
Yep.
I believe it was issue 1 of the Crow Song series in Bloodborne.
Okay.
Which
This right here. This excites me.
Okay, so Strike Force, this is the War of the Realms. So we did kind of touch upon in the last episode the War of the Realms, and there was going to be a lot of spin-off books.
Yep.
And Strike Force, it's called, there's 3 different titles. Strike Force, the Dark Elf Realm, Strike Force, the War Avengers, and Strike Force, the Land of Giants, which
I'm
are all
pretty
kind of featured
excited
on the last
for the
page
Land of Giants.
of this recent Age of Belit book.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff with War of the Realms. We didn't want to beat you over the head with Mjolnir to basically.
he would have, but that's neither here nor there.
To talk about War of the Realms this time, but there's going to be so much more material out.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We're going to talk
in the
about
next
it.
month or two.
A
So
lot.
we'll be revisiting it exactly,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm sure that we'll be covering that. I think next month we'll also be discussing some of the Spider-Man titles because we're going to have Spider-Man
Right.
Far From Home coming out in the theaters. It seems to be relevant. And so that I'm sure that will kind of make its way into the dialogue for next time around. But anyway, it would be remiss for me to not mention that we do have offers this month. Star Wars figures. It was May the 4th recently that we
Yep.
celebrated along with Free Comic Book Day. And so this month, you have to do, there was some confusion last month. People didn't really follow the instructions we gave, but maybe we weren't clear in communicating.
Yeah, I
but
blame you for that.
yeah, I'll take that on. But
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
we if you do 3 things, and that is to like our video, comment on it, and then share it to your page, then you will be entered into a raffle
Yep.
to win one of these Star Wars figures that we actually have featured here today. This guy is not included, sadly, but
Yeah, he's just here for fun. As we talked
He's just
about,
having a good time over there. Watch him.
non-Star
Look at
Wars
him.
related things.
Just having
he
a
is. He agrees.
grand old time. So
And, yeah, so you get a Kylo Ren, and we have also, I think this is Rose, right?
Yep.
yes.
So
Looks like
a
her
little bit
anyways.
of the light side and dark side for us here. And so these are free for you, free raffle basically. So just share our videos. Like I said, well, like, comment, and share. And then you will be entered into the raffle. And we'll be reaching out to you. But that is all for our comic talk for this month. We appreciate you watching, and we can't wait to talk to you again next month, and or in the next video.
Right.
So thank you very much, and until next time.